tuko ndani ya studio na mwanangu Lness, lioness, artist, advocate for society change, vile vile anajulikana kama Lydia Owano Akwabi. Yeye ni kama poetic social activist, performing and reality artist, African hip hop culture specialist. Welcome to Baze Radio.
Asante sana, shukran sana. Welcome people. Thank you so much for having me here. Yeah, uko tuned in na Kido.
Yes, ndani ya Baze Radio.
Na Billy.
Yes, as well. Pia niko na co-host leo tunaipiga show na one and only Billy.
Yeah.
Tell watu bana.
Sasa hiyo unajua niko kwa hip hop mood.
Wacha.
Just spitting bars on bars on bars.
It's like, how's your afternoon going, Lness?
It's going great. I thank God. Yes, and I thank Baze Radio for hosting me to talk to the masses. Yeah.
So we heard a lot about you, Billy. My producer Garnet wamekuwa kikusifu. Wanasema mengi kido, amazing, talented female, one of the best.
The pioneer.
Yes, the pioneer of the hip hop industry, in the music industry in Kenya. How did your journey begin?
Well, first off, thank you, and I'm humbled to be termed like that. My musical journey has been long because I've been in the industry for quite some time. And it began with, say, me being on the map was in 2004 when I participated in the Kilio Chahaki album. I had been in previous albums before, but it was just, let's say, one song or a verse over there. But the albums didn't really put me on the map like the Kilio Chahaki album did. Because it was a project with over 40 MCs, hardcore MCs from Eastlands and other areas of the world. And as the title says, Kilio Chahaki, the content was about justice and the cry for justice, because around 2004 we were going through a lot of political turmoil and even other kinds of challenges. So the album ilikuwa na impact sana, especially in Africa, in terms of motivating people in the under the political situation yenye walikuwa under. Na pia, not just political but society, the things that people are going through in society, we got to speak about them, the real issues that people go through. Kilio Chahaki album iliweza kuzi bring out, and being part of that project actually put me on the map as a FMC, because it is from there that I was able to get performances way before I had even done like a full album. From Kilio Chahaki I was able to get interviews, performances and networks ambazo zilini improve, zikani grow as a msanii. From there, in 2012 I did the Girl Power album featuring FMCs from around Africa, mainly East Africa, because ilikuwa na like kutoka TZ, Uganda na hapa Kenya. And that one I think also catapulted my journey, because I think an exclusively FMC's album hadn't been done before. And that one is really good because I got to launch it at the Goethe Institute. They supported me to launch it. And it's like, it was also another stepping stone of putting me on the map internationally.
Wow.
You see, sasa Kilio Chahaki imeniweka kwa map, in, let's say, locally. And then, after doing that, nikafanya Girl Power, ikaniweka kwa map internationally. Because after that, tukaitwa kwa project ingine na the same Goethe Institute, in conjunction with Literature Workstart, kufanya ilikuwa inaitwa Spoken Words. It was a cultural exchange program where, let's say, me as an MC from Kenya, I would translate the verse of, let's say, an MC from Angola, and then actually go to Berlin and perform it. The translated version is like nachukua verse yako, wewe umeandika song, I take your verse, and then your verse in, let's say, in your mother tongue or whatever language you wrote it in, then I translate it into Sheng or Kiswahili or whichever language I want, and then I perform it. Then wewe unachukua verse yangu and you do the same. It was so interesting. MCs came from there. It was really a good cultural and knowledge exchange program, because MCs came from there and we performed here, and we went there and we performed there, and we took part in panel discussions and performances. And it also expanded me as an artist. It expanded my artistic repertoire because then I got to facilitate workshops there. I hadn't really done that before, but we were taken to female prisons and male penitentiary institutions just to talk to them about creative arts and to motivate the people who are there. So it's like each stage of my growth has been like a stepping stone and a catapulting into another stage. Because from the spoken words project, wakaniita sasa tena, later I think 2 years after that I was called back to do the poetry festival, where now I go to perform my own content alone. Wow. From this poetry festival, it catapulted me again because Lyric Line, who put people's poems online, they now took the audio versions of my whatever I'd performed and put them on Lyric Line. So right now people can go on Lyric Line and they can download my poetry in whatever language. So each stage imekuwa tu ya kuni push forward up to pre-COVID-19, whereby now the culture of ciphers ilikuwa imegrow. Nikakuwa kwa uncut ciphers just because of who I am as an MC and what I had and the growth that I had developed coming through. Haya, kwa kuja COVID-19, you see now things are changing.
Yeah.
Because before then I was performing in big shows. When I came back from the Poetry Festival, then Sarakasi wakaanza kuniita for hip hop hookup, for projects and performances that needed that were more women oriented and exclusively for women. Story Moja Festival called me.
Which year was that?
This is in say 2018 around.
2018. Now the story is kwa tamu. We've got Bombonka in line next for you by one and only Lness, Lioness featuring Kilan Loop. Let me pick it from there.
Okay.
All right. Yet it's all over the world by kilio cha haki. Ai, kuna haki kweli?
Inategemea, lakini as long as ukiangalia kwa dunia nzima, dunia nzima, si hata Kenya tu, hata ukiangalia, if I mention too what happened, what the president of Tanzania did, and whatever led to that, utakuta dunia nzima watu wako in turmoil. So kuna haki kwenye constitution, as in kwa theory kuna haki. Kwenye what's supposed to be implemented, what's supposed to be done, kuna haki kwa hayo makaratasi. But on the ground, kwa ground vitu ni different. That's why watu wako ni kama wanataka mabadiliko, na wakijaribu kuwa part of that change, it's like it becomes a challenge, because then it's like you're going against the current of the system. So yes, kuna haki kwa paper, kuna haki kwa policies, but on the ground bado hiyo haki haijafikia ule msee mwenye anataka haki. Yeah.
So if I take you back, sema kilio cha haki ili kuelevate. So like your whole journey imekuwa like a process.
Yes.
Na umekuwa in hip hop for over miaka 20 plus. And see wengi wenye mlianza now they're still doing it. So in your opinion, how has been the process of hip hop growing in Kenya? Imekuwa ikienda juu ama imekuwa ikidecline?
Inategemea unaangalia from what aspect. Because the industry is wide. And then hip hop is a culture. So in terms of the culture, na ku-uplift your culture, wasanii ambao wana represent the element of hip hop ambayo inaitwa MCing, wamekuwa waki-uphold that culture. Unajua content yao imekuwa iki-uphold the culture of hip hop. Okay, ukiangalia kwa the elements of hip hop, unaangalia kuna like DJing, have the DJs been uplifting the culture of hip hop?
Kuna dance,
kuna dance, how the dancers been communicating that. There are so many places with graffiti. What message does this graffiti tell us? Unajua? So ni different aspects of it. Ukiangalia another element is let's say fashion. Another element is like entrepreneurialism. Hapo sasa ndo kuna challenge. Because we've come so far and we've really advanced artistically, like I know in Kenya, I know in Africa kuna wasanii wakali, like everybody is really good.
Ni sisi hatuwajui ama is
wako one inakuja from how are you pushing yourself as an artist, unajituma aje, inaanzia hapo. 2 inakuja umejibrand aje. 3 inakuja pia domains of activities zako ni zipi. Unajua watu wanafika kiwango fulani wanakuwa wazazi, watu wanafika kiwango fulani they go into other careers. Kuna wengine wanaingia kwa politics, you see. And then unakuta hiyo process yao ya kisanii like haiendelee vile inafaa. Or hawezi kuifuatilia na huwezi kuwa blame. You see, because it's also happened to me at a time, especially when I get into doing nutrition stuff. I have to step away from music completely, and I have to, because of what I'm doing during every day. If I'm doing research, I have to like forget. I have to compartmentalize your aspect, your poetry and music somewhere, so that I can do that. So things are happening to people. Life is going on. So unakuta hata kukisema watu wenye tulianza nao, sometimes unakuta there are issues to do with music must just make economic sense to you. But inakanga ni kama it's the kind of venture whereby you invest but the returns don't come back as immediately. So kwa wengine, even with the social media and streaming DSPs, it doesn't make economic sense to them. And so they opt to do other things. They opt to go for side hustles. I have ever done, even right now, I have to do a side hustle to fund my music projects.
Okay.
I have to do a side hustle to be able to do a good video or to be able to host a show. So hapo kwenye trade, hapo kwenye how it makes economic sense to the artist,
ndio kuna shida. Is that the reason why wasepi wamechange like the style of music? Ulikuwa unafanya conscious hip hop from the beginning, hardcore hip hop, addressing the real issues ziko kwa ground and stuff like that. But juu sasa you make economical sense, unaona siku hizo ukiimba tu vitu hazina mpangilio at the end of the day. Okay, let's say for instance say Abanton ndio na trend. An artist anaku approach Lness, natakuwekea hapa verse. Wewe kwa akili yako unajua like from the structure of the song I'm not fitting anywhere. But at the end of the day, because it makes economical sense for you, utalipwa at the end of the day unasema
it comes from, sometimes it's the management. Like Kolo of Kleptomania kanakwanga brother yangu sana, ni best yangu sana, and when we meet in events we talk. And he can actually attest to the fact that it happened to them. Walikuwa wana rap vizuri sana, like
very good, yes.
Very good and good boom bap songs. But then when they got to management offices, you're taken to the office and you're told, okay, dude, we know you're good. Like we know you're really good. But then we want you to do this kind of music, and believe me, we will sell it for you and you will make money from it. So this person who is giving that proposal, unajua already akona do, anaweza kupush hiyo kitu.
Ndio hizi pesa unaambiwa, ndio hizi pesa.
Unajua akona access to endorsements. So unakuta when they changed their style of doing music and started doing like turukaruke, and singing kind of songs, actually walikuwa na McDonald's, walikuwa na get shows. So to them it seemed as though this is the way to do it. But he later told me, no, it's not really necessarily the way to do it. You can be versatile as an artist. Niliani, the people who control this, the capitalists, they're the ones who normally decide for the artist wanamwambia fanya this kind of music. But for me, it could be your choice, or it could also be with the times and the change of sounds. Ukisikiliza my song inaitwa Talk the Things. It's a Trinidad song. See, it's not the normal Lness that you would expect. Because sometimes you have to listen to your advisors, you have to listen to your producers. Unakuta producer unaweza kwenda kwa studio, wewe unataka kurap, kuvent kwa beat, unataka tu yani kuchana. But wanakuambia okay sawa Lness, tunajua wewe ni ule mkali, but why don't you try this different sound? Okay. So mimi nimeenda kwa studio kurecord with a set mind. Producer anafaa kunipatia beat inakaa hivi, ndo mimi yani anafanya respond to what I have. But then the producer can tell me, let me give you this kind of instrumental, try and respond to it and see how it goes. So sometimes it is also us as artists trying to explore our kind of art. here. But sometimes it comes from, let's say, labels and management who try to carve a way in which it can make economic sense to you because they already have the funds and the capacity to push that kind of music.
It's only you just to tune to kidogo badilisha here and there, then you'll be good. Okay, now.
All right, you've heard it from Lness and Lioness. Up next for you, Top the Things, Lioness featuring Killer Loop. Keep it locked to Baze Radio. Welcome back. That was Nusu Shari by Joe McKinney right here on Baze Radio at co.ke. Now, vile mtongu niko ndani ya studio na Lness and Lioness, one of the pioneers of hip hop artist, hip hop music in the country as well. Niko na co-host Billy. Hey, naka Lness akona story tamu sana industry.
Yeah.
Yani kama structures ingekuwa sawa. Support ingekuwa sawa. Billy.
Yep. So mimi nitakurudisha nyuma. Way back, right? Ukigrow. You've said it over and over again that familia yako was a musical one. Unajua sisi tukigrow mzazi alikuwa akisikia muziki akozeza like na wewe enda shule kwa daktari kwa engineer. Wacha mchezo ya kuwa msanii. But tulisa babako alikuwa na play guitar, your brothers walikuwa naimba. So ushaiona waki earn from muziki ama akukuwa nile pressure na kuambia wewe tunataka usome kidogo, you be mtu different from what we are doing because you're not earning from this. Juu ilikuwa way back. Alafu considering pia wewe ulikuwa ni a female. Ulikuwa ni mwanaume, it's a little bit easier as compared to a female. So uliona waki earn from their art, ndika kumotivate to do the art, ama ilikuwa tu just from the love of the art?
Unanipeleka pale kwa why do we do this?
Yeah.
Money is one of the reasons why we do it, but it's not the only reason why unakutanga msichana kwa msanii. So yes, in fact for them, you see, kama Buddha ilikuwa inamlipa because he was also, among other subjects, he was a music teacher and a music lecturer. And then this is a guy who, if you read from the book of Shades of Benga, it says that hawa ni wase wenye walikuwa natembea na kina Daudi Kabaka, they used to come all the way from Shags, they come to Nairobi kwa Muindi pale River Road, kukata kale ka vinyl. Ndo waweze kukauza, wapate school fees
ya kusomesha watoto.
Ya kujisomesha wao wenyewe. So their parents, like I can say now, my grandparents were the ones who had that mentality of ndio mziki lakini education is the key, you see. But for them, they knew for us to get this education, muziki ndo the way, because they had to come to that, wapige mashow, wapate pesa, warudi walipe fee. So for him, for my parents, I've seen it pay them, you see. But you see, then the structures were really good. Because ulikuwa hata tuseme hata kama umeenda uni ulikuwa assured ukimaliza uni there is a job for you. Whatever you're doing, as in structures zilikuwa sawa then. So how nimeona ikiwalipa. My brother started singing actually in high school. Walikuwa na boys band kind of thing. Na at that level they used to go to get shows na walikuwa wanalipwa. You see, so for them, I also saw it making economic sense for them until the time they became producers. And now you see they are touching many people's lives and they are uplifting many people, and it becomes beyond the money, sort of. So I also grew up to see that. Nime grow up kuona it's been a learning process. It's not just the money. You get to learn a lot. Na nimeona how wame learn a lot from it. Na mimi nime learn from the lessons that they learned. So I've seen it pay them, not just monetarily, but also in other ways in terms of how they've impacted society, the kind of artists they've worked with. Unasikia many East African artists wameproduciwa na wao, wamepitia mikononi mwao. So they've really helped artists grow their art and also grow otherwise in life. Some of the artists, in fact many of the artists when wame work now have become global figures, akina Matonya, akina Professor J, even Joe McKinney here. Wame work na yeye. They've worked with so many artists na nimeona vile wame impact lives za wase. For me also imenilipa because all these projects that I've worked on, they were paying projects. Kwanza hakuna mse anajua kulipa kama Mjeru. Njeru, the difference with
Njeru ni mzungu?
German. German, yeah, because there is in these things you find that in many projects you do the project and then there is normally a lot of red tape when it comes to payment, and there are a lot of processes. But working with literature, the work start and working with the German, only precise. You get there, you're given a contract, you're told, okay, we'll pay you this much. This is for this. This is your per diem. Na iko kwa bahasha. Unapatiwa. Unajua wejipange.
Is it equal, by the way? Like the male guys mnalipwa the same as the females because exploitation pia imekuwa.
Ama ni standard yako profile.
Yeah, profile yako ni.
Sasa walikuwa wana in terms of what you're giving. What are you going there to do? Umeitwa kama msanii peke yake upige show, utalipwa let's say 400 euros za kuperform. Haya, ukikubali kufacilitate let's say a master's class, unaambiwa utalipwa 600 euros on top. Haya, ukikubali kwenda somewhere kumotivate maybe the community, unalipwa. So it's all about what are you bringing on the table. If you can bring everything at the table,
you get more.
You get more. No. So that's how it is.
So if you bring it also down to the local ninio, unajua sabanga respect, men are more respected in the game as compared to the female. So tuseme okay, uko na catalog kubwa alafu tumeitwa show because mimi ni mwanaume, I'm going to be paid more. Jueni dem utaambia hata tutakufanyia favor, wewe chukua hii uperform na hiyo story ishi.
Inategemea na what was your agreement. Because of course, before this person puts you on, they're going to give you the logistics of whatever project they're putting you on. Now, if you're a female, and we all know that what you're saying is what goes on, then what I have learned and I've been taught by my predecessors is have your quote in written form. Probably with the lawyer's rubber stamp. Because
card yangu ni hii.
Because unaweza come kwangu niko na 100k but sijui nikulipe ngapi na hauniambii nikulipe ngapi, so nakulipa so. Like I'll give you 100 bob because I don't know how much to pay you.
Yeah.
But if you come with the quote and go like mimi na chargingi 50,000, unaona? Then hata kama utaweza kunilipa hiyo 50 Gs, you see it changes the perception. Can we bargain? Can I give you 30?
Yeah.
Now kuna deeper issues around how people get paid. You can come to me, okay, I can come to you and tell you, okay, Kido, I have a project.
Yes.
It's paying artists 150,000. So you're going to, when somebody calls you, tell them you are paid 150,000, but I'm going to give you 100k. So you're like, okay, ni chukue, and then you look around, you're like, yani, uko kwa mawe, so that season where there are no shows, you understand? So you take the money, you see.
Yeah.
But then these are things that are going on because this very same person, mwenye amekuambia, okay, hii project ni 150k, nitakulipa 150 or 50 for that matter, na kumangia tu kisoro safi. Then the same guy paradoxically will call you and be like, after the project now, simnaenda home melipwa. Kido, we are following up on how artists are being treated. Did anybody call you to ask you for any money? And they're like, you called me to ask me for money. So artists are dealing with very funny issues. But because of the economic situation, people agree to take whatever they're given. But I always say, have your quote. Because I've also worked with people who told me the same. I'm like, I've done this for you. Mbona hujanilipa? They're like, mi hukuniambia nikulipe ngapi? Bring your quote. And when I bring the quote, indeed what I have quoted, nalipo. So I'm like, So artists should always have the red card, especially females. And you also state what you're bringing to the table. Maybe you're bringing in more than what the males are bringing in, but because you have not quoted how much it is that you ought to be paid, then unakuta kunakuwa na challenges because you must have something written to hold a person against. Nilikufanyia hii na hii na hii, kwa hivyo unafaa kunilipa hii. Akikataa kukulipa uko na you have evidence.
All right, that's right. I've got we're doing a freestyle in the next few by Lness, so keep it locked on Baze Radio.co.ke. Yes, it's Wambie by Lness. Na ndani ya studio, if you're tuning right now, niko na African hip hop culture specialist Lness as well. Niko na co-host wangu Billy. Now I want to find out from you what has been the most powerful or emotional moments in your journey as Lness.
Those ones, there could be many.
One highlight would be when I go to perform in a place where I'm not known, let's say in a foreign country, and the response that you get, yet they cannot understand what you're saying. They're just feeling your sound, and they're just feeling your lyrics. I think it's been a highlight, and it made me look deeply into it. And I was like, kumbe for rap, it's like even before you put the music on, it's like the rhythm is already in the words. And that's why unakuta msee mwenye kwa ananielewa chenye nasema, they are able to jump to what I'm doing. Hii country unazungumzia ni gani?
I can talk about Tanzania. I can talk about Uganda when I went for the Babishai Poetry Festival. I can talk about Berlin. And you know that's a completely different continent and space.
Now you have a project out that you launched last November, or rather ulito last November, but now the launch is coming. Again, mi nabaki hapa kwa space ya hip hop because hip hop imechange sana since the day ulianza mpaka sai. Na watu wengi wako wasema most of the legends wamekuwa thrown out of the game because they cannot adapt to what is happening. Unajua kitambo mlikuwa mnauza tapes, CDs ikakaa, flash discs, sai everything ni digital.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so all through, have you been able to keep up with the pace of which hip hop in a move through? Are you at par with what is happening in terms of music revolution sai? And then would you mind to talk about the project itself? So what is it about? Is it an album, an EP? Is it an LP?
Okay. Inategemea what I'm contributing to hip hop.
Yeah.
I'm an MC, and so I represent the element of MCing. So hapo naweza kusema I've been keeping up because I listen to all kinds of music, but unakuta I listen to lots of reggae to cool my mind. But I listen.
Masikia kidogo, reggae cools your mind.
But then I listen, when I begin to listen to hip hop, naingia analysis mode kwa brain immediately. Yani kazi inaanza, okay, naanza ku analyze flow, sound, what the music is doing, what is this artist talking about. This is so, it like, for hip hop you have to research, you have to listen to other guys, you have to watch what other guys are doing. So hapo nimekuwa nikikeep up because it also keeps me at pace. Naangalia what's not being done, and I see how I can fill that gap.
Yeah.
In terms of trade, no, let me come to knowledge exchange first.
Yeah.
Because when I take part in these panel discussions, when I facilitate any discussion, or when I find myself in a forum where we exchange knowledge, then I believe that I've been holding that up, the element of knowledge exchange.
Yeah.
That one I've been holding it up. In terms of fashion, when we come to that element of fashion, there's some schools of hip hop that would call it street fashion. I can say I've represented that because it's also part of the learning process of an artist. How do you expand your art?
Yeah.
From the lyrics to a t-shirt, from the lyrics to a cape, from the lyrics to a merchandise that you can sell.
Yeah, from the lyrics to the consumer, how would you make sure that wameipata on time and the way it's supposed to?
Yeah, nile sijakaa mnazo, but I also make merchandise.
Yeah.
In terms of performance, I've been performing, and I think that's where also another challenge is, because from the studio, wasanii wanashindwangwa what next. Okay, what then? Okay, fine, I've done a hit song, but what next? You see, do I perform it? Do I put it online? What do I do with it? It's easy actually to put it online. But then there are some, I say, like for the DSPs, they have to make economic sense to the artist.
Yeah.
Where do you get the rest of the money? Getting shows. Okay, shows hakuna. So tufanyeje? So you find most of us when tuli grow in that era where ulikuwa tu unaitwa event.
CD unaenda na CD zako pale na t-shirts unauza. Yeah.
Saa hii ni tofauti. Unapata saa hii kila mtu anaketi like, okay, where's the event? There's no event. So let us make our own event.
Yeah.
Okay, most artists right now are doing their own album launches.
Yeah, true.
And yet unakuta 2012 you just write a proposal to go to Lness and you're on. But sai, even those spaces after COVID-19, it's been hard to get
into those spaces, yeah.
Because of social distancing and many other aspects. Then you can imagine sahi bado, people are again being told to start masking up. Some spaces have started been telling people to start social distancing. Like there's a bug around, there's a COVID like kind of bug moving around. And it's affecting us as artists and the spaces where we go to interact. Haya. Sahi, the country is really politically volatile. So even just putting up an event somewhere and getting crowds to come, it creates tension.
Yeah.
So the ground is really, the topography of where we work is not very conducive.
Mtu akisema tu a truthful man, mnakuja nyote mmeko ndani.
Kuna hizi issues ambazo ni deep. So unakuta sahi artists from that time where you just be called for an event, say watu wanajifanyia maevent.
Yeah.
There are so many pockets of art going on, so many cocoons of art. If you go to the Mall Westlands, it's like there's a whole floor of, you'd think they're shops, but it's a room of art spaces, different kinds of art forms going on. So there's a lot of art going on, and it's being done by individuals and groups because the structures that Kido had spoken about that are not streamlined, those are the formal structures that we need, recording labels that are legit. But then because we don't have that and we have to keep doing our art, we have to turn to informal structures of pushing ourselves forward. So unakuta watu wanajifanyia tu mambo yao, tunabongana we, we put up an event, we unaita mabeste zako, mimi naita mabeste zangu, anaita mabeste zake. If you call 30, I call 30, he calls 30.
That's 100 people.
So that's what's going on right now.
Yeah.
All right.
But there are also big events, but those big events are looking for the Calligraph Jones. They will only take the BNs and the Sauti Souls, unaona? So unakuta pia hiyo space kuipenya for an underground artist is very hard. So they opt to do their own events mtaani and people come, na watu wanabambika. So I think it's also a learning process because pia tumegrow in an environment where there have been so many workshops za kufundisha wasanii how to do this, how to do that. I was even told that Facebook is actually a unit in uni. Facebook peke yake.
You have to learn how to use Facebook.
And social media is like
a unit on its own.
On its own. So kumekuanga pia na forums za kufundisha wasanii how to do this, za kuwafundisha music business. Unaona. So utakuta kuna wenye wameweza kufuatilia, they've practiced what they've been taught, imework for them. There are those wenye maybe they do other things to get investment. Kuna watu maybe they get endorsement.
Lucky ones.
Not everybody.
But it all also boils down to umejibrand aje ndo Safaricom ikuje kuchukua endorse. No.
Yeah, so tukikam kido the album, atakuja saa kutouch on the album. I think your love may escape her mind.
Okay.
So there's a new album she has out. She's doing the launch actually this year, right? But
yes,
the album already
around August. I did the listening party,
but now the launch.
Mageuzi Hub. It was hosted by Power Radio.
Okay.
So now the album launch is going to come at around August.
Okay.
All right.
And then there is also a hip-hop musical in Sheng project that I'm working with the Nairobi Theatre Initiative in conjunction with Eric Wainaina and Sitawa Namwali. And we took a ghetto story and Sitawa Namwali wrote the script. And then Eric and I are part of the lead composers with another guy called Mbogwa.
Okay.
And we are composing a hip-hop musical in Sheng, which is going to be staged. The first staging of a few scenes was in Alliance Française with Tika and also at Karichota. So that's also going on. And right now we are vetting for cast. But I think it's a way of taking the underground into Broadway, because it's in Sheng, because the characters are in Nairobi. And such a thing has never been done before.
All right, we're going to come back on your Sheng project as well, on your album in the next year. But for now, we'll take a small break. I've got it's what?
Ibindu.
Things, Things, by Lness, Lioness. Keep it locked on Baze Radio as I come back with more in the next year. Yes, you've heard it right. It's Safiri Kalamoto right here on Baze Radio .co.ke. We are about to wind up this conversation with the queen of rap in Africa, Lness, lioness, Daniel, Baze Radio .co.ke. Now, you've talked about 2 projects coming up.
Actually,
the 3. There's Sheng project. There's the album coming up in the Jilikana kama Boko Rhymes. All right. Yeah, tatu ni gani?
Ya tatu inaitwa The Planting Season. Tumefanya na Boom Pop Click. Imeproduciwa na Kunta Official Beats.
Kunta.
Itakuwa launch digitally on 31st of this month.
31st of this month. Itakuwa ni kasato hivi, sio?
Yep.
All right, take me through the other projects as well.
The other project is the Boko Rhymes album. I did the listening party at Mageuzi Hub on 30th last year in November. And now we're looking forward to the album launch somewhere around August. Tawapa date. And then the biggest one is called The Escape. It's a hip-hop musical in Sheng. I'm doing it with Eric Wainaina and Sitawa Namwalye and Mbogwa and other artists in the Nairobi Theatre Initiative, Musical Theatre Initiative. There are actually 12 musicals. Ours is just 1. So kuna zingine mingi sana, they are being done by other artists. And we did a reading and a recital at the Alliance Française last year around August. And so we are continuing with the casting and the vetting for casts, and also winding up with some of the scenes.
Sheng project mtakuwa achieve nini?
Kwa Sheng project, we want to bridge the gap in terms of we want to demystify the fact that musicals in Kenya are normally looked at as elitist. When you tell anybody about a musical, immediately one could think Uptown, immediately you think Broadway. But then we want to debunk that aspect, that we can actually have our ghetto stories being told in musicals and being staged out there, so that people can also understand us, because many stories when unakuta musicals zilikuwa zinapelekwa, it's like guys would reduce Sound of Music. Sound of Music is not our story. So we are taking our story from the first person and putting it into a musical that can be staged at every platform. So inaweza kustajiwa Broadway na bado inaweza kustajiwa huku. Now, talking of Sheng, I have also written an article. Inaweza patikana at Taylor and Francis online. Na hiyo article nimeweza ku break down Sheng, how it is. Sheng za mitaa vile ziko tofauti. Sheng, kuna Sheng ya kawaida yenye kama ile tunaongea sahi, kuna Sheng ile deep yenye mtu akikusikia anapotea. Manjegus wamemuoka live, unajua. So I'm breaking all that down, and actually hapa hivi Kenya unajua tunachukulia tu Sheng like okay, street language. When you step outside of the borders of Kenya, man, Sheng is big. Guys are learning it in universities. Yani utashangaa. Like they took my article, they're studying it. All these doctors, you know, they're calling me Dr. Lness. You wrote an article on Sheng. You know, it's like to me it seems like they are so interested in it as a language. So us as Kenyans, we must own it, because all these corporates, they've run with it. Ukiangalia kama billboards, all the billboards are using Sheng to promote themselves. Unaona? So it's like imeruka huko nje, it's like in itself it's gone out there. But then we must own it.
We must own it.
So one of the ways of owning it is niliandika an article about it to break it down for people, and it is out there. There's so many people who are researching about it, and they're giving me feedback that it's something that is giving them a lot of thoughts, foods for thought.
Sasa tukimalizia hii tu ni kukuchokoza akili. Name ya top 5 male MCs in Kenya, alafu ya top 5 female MCs in Kenya.
You see, there's so many, oh my God, but I can only name the ones I've worked with.
Yeah.
Ndo wasione ni kama ati.
Because umework na both the OGs in the game na pia umework pia na the new school wakina Shazzy B, Neymar, wakina
Sasa unataja watu wangu. Unataka kutaja watu
so
wangu.
top 5 male MCs, top 5 female MCs.
Female MCs.
Yep.
Chani kenye nimework now. Goodness, I forgot to mention the International Women's Day project with FMCs. So maybe I should name those ones. Kuna Madigolo, kuna Summer Nights, kuna Lissy G, kuna Shazzy B, kuna Shinobil, kuna Nemr. In fact, Nemr launched album yake just last Saturday and I took part in it.
Yeah.
Wamefika 5.
Hata shapita. I thought utasema number 1 ni
You see, I cannot say ati number 1 ni huyu, number 2 ni yule, number 3 ni yule. Juu nikiwaangalia wote ni wa tight katika style zao, unless kama tungetoa verse moja tuwapee tuone nani ata execute the best. But nikiweka hivyo I don't say na kuna mmoja mkali kushinda mwingine. No, I think
all of them are dope.
They're dope in what they're doing, and we cannot do anything the same.
Okay.
The fact that we're all alive, it means that we all
have different purposes
to contribute.
Yeah. Male MCs?
But the male MCs, natambuanga wasanii kama Tembe Kali. You know Tembe Kali?
That's fire.
Lazima ni mention Kitusua. Tulikuwa na yeye kwa show the other day. Lazima pia ni mention wenye nimeona wakigrow, somebody like Monaja.
Monaja,
if you look
true.
at what he's doing right now and what he was doing.
The philanthropist, the lecturer thing, music, all of them together.
I could put him on in terms of representing the culture.
Yeah.
Ni wengi, Katapila juu tuko na yeye kwa msanii remix. You know, I could mention
Au ni wanne, so one more.
My head is running through so many
Wapi Calligraph, wapi Octopizo, wapi Kenkaka.
Kana natafuta. Yani tunajua, unajua. Tunajua, sharankiwa.
Wenyeji, Wakamba wawili, ama ni Warogi wawili.
Hapo. I was looking more for new cuts like Slim Chain. Or these guys who do drill. Kuna watu
Brooklyn Boys ndio wanajulikana peke yake from the drill world.
But the Brooklyn Boys are not that bad. I've been even any artist doing gangeton. I was in some time in Icon Radio, alafu ma beats zikaanza kuchezwa za Cypher. Tukaambiwa okay, I was with Jim Watt there.
Yeah.
Tukaambiwa okay, do you have a verse that you can just put in a Cypher? Tukasema tukifikiria tutatuwekea a hardcore beat. Gangeton ndio ilitembea. And then when you listen to what these guys are rapping, you're like, okay, fine. Mwenye ako na shida na gangeton shauri yake. These guys have content. We were like, seni wa creative jo. Paka tukaika mavas like
on a gangeton track.
On a gangeton track, because I mean we just couldn't help ourselves according to what the MCs were rapping
about. Yeah. Alafu kido a fun fact. Unajua jina Lness alipatiwa na nani? Bamboo the African band. Okay, South Flavor, right? Bamboo na Abbas.
Actually alikuwa ananichokozanga, you're the lady of rage.
Yeah, you're the lioness.
Lady of rage. Mimi nashinda mjango anasema nini? Hiyo nilikuwa na kavasi kamoja tu sasa hiyo. Yeah.
All right, now to our listeners, Baze Radio family, how can they connect with you? How can they reach out to you? And how can they support your music?
All right. You can support my music by downloading my latest album from www.mdundo.com/a/71. Soon I'll put it in other platforms, but for now it's exclusively on Mdundo. You can find me on IG at smallcaps Lness_girl_power. You can find me on Facebook at Lness Akwabi. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, all caps Lness Lioness, and you can like a video and share. You can find my Facebook page on Lness. But also when you go on YouTube and look at projects like Nairobi Theatre Musical Initiative, if you look at projects like Sample Bar, you can also find my content there. Go on Lyric Line and get my poetry. You can go on Reverb Nation and get my other albums. Otherwise, if you just type the name Lness online, you will get my content.
All right, thank you so much for your time. Billy, you have something to say?
No, I'm just, man, how can I say? It's an honor. I've grown listening to you. I'm a Kenyan hip-hop student. I'm studying the pattern and all about the evolution. Harikimani, big shout out. The Kalamashaka, Mau Mau, it can narrow down to you guys, then now to the new generation, Wakina Octopizo Kali, then now the new kids on the block. So it's an honor to speak to an OG, to understand how, like,
Kwa ile list yetu tuongeze Kalamoto.
You've heard it from Lness, Lioness. Go support her work. Go across all social media platforms. Make sure you subscribe. Download muziki yake pale kwenye Mdundo. Album nzuri sana. Ni high rhymes kama sijakosea.
Boko Harimes.
Boko
Haram. Ni word play ya Boko Haram.
But ni Harimes.
Thank you so much for your time. God bless you. Wish you all the best. We'll link up next time. Now to my Baze Radio family. Tomorrow is another day. It's a Thursday. So tuna throw back exclusive radio on bazeradio.co.ke. So patane kesho media saa 8 from 2 p.m. till 5 p.m.
Amenitendeja.
We watch a stories of Jabba. Up next for you, remix. Lness featuring Shaim Nobil, Shazi B, Nemar, and Caterpillar exclusive radio on Baze Radio.
This is Baze Radio.
We are 254 to the core.